Wildlife Reserve. Just a couple safety reminders. Please make sure we are staying fully seated with hands. Again, that all clear here in just a moment. So our first stop is going to be the Little Aturi Forest. Animals in the forest use their colors and markings to blend into their as well. So we'll see who we can find. Alright, can see some animals out and about already. They'll be coming up on our left-hand side. These antelopes with kind of orange coats are bongos. They're going to be scattered along the hill up here. And then if we look out to our right-hand side, you may barely see them peeking through the bamboo. There is an okapi way back there. Now, okapi have predominantly brown bodies, but these stripes on their legs kind of make them look like they wear zebra print pants. They're not going to have any relationship to them, though. They're the closest known living relative to the giraffe. These bongos here, they're nicknamed ghosts of the forest as they're very rarely seen in the wild. They're a pretty reclusive animal, and that stripe pattern helps them blend in with sunlight shining through the trees. A couple more just behind the hill there. Now, if you notice their horns twist and lean backwards, that shape is going to help them run through the forest swiftly without getting tangled on the underbrush. These next animals are coming up way up on top of this hill to our right-hand side. Two black and white birds are saddle-billed storks. They're building a nest up there, so a little taller than us. They get their name from their yellow patch that sits on their beaks in the shape of a saddle. And two of them here, they do mate for life. You can tell them apart based on their eye color. Females have bright yellow eyes, males have a darker brown. Alright, let's see if anybody else is hanging out over here. Lots of vegetation, keyword being forest. Lots of things to hide behind and amongst. So up here to our right, they're sort of through the bushes, but there are greater kudu up there. If you see their ears sticking up, they are one of the larger antelopes. They stand about 55 inches tall. It's about 5 feet at their shoulders. And then up here to our left, they are laying against the clay wall, so they're blending in pretty well, but there is a black rhinoceros. They are the smaller of the rhino species, weighing about 3,000 pounds full grown. Sounds like a lot, but it is kind of petite for a rhino. They are sort of tucked away there. That is a very solitary and territorial species. They do spend a lot of their time kind of in hiding and by themselves. On that note, we're moving out of the forest here and into a new ecosystem as we'll roll through the Safi River. The river is home to animals that spend lots of time in or around larger sources of water, so the more aquatic species. Alright, well first take a look down to our right-hand side. I can see some pink-backed pelicans. You may see Nile hippopotamus as well. They just look like tan blobs in the water, but we are going to try to find more of them up ahead. Now the pelicans get their name from the pink color that appears during mating season. It's present all year round as it's part of their skin and not feathers. It's just going to be much more vibrant in that time, like how our cheeks turn pink when blushing. To our left, some of those Nile hippopotamus. Just blobs in the water. We do need to be seated though. Now hippos are technically land animals, but they spend most of their time fully in the water to not overheat. They can hold their breath for around 8 minutes at a time, and they have a natural reflex when sleeping to push only their nose above the surface to take a breath of fresh air, and they'll sink back under without fully waking up. They are one of the larger animals here, and hippos are primarily made of muscle. This means they'll sink, except for the younger ones with a bit more baby fat. We look down to our left now, we'll kind of pass over Nile crocodiles. There is one on that little bank there, one is blending in with the grass, and then others are going to be in the water. Go ahead and pick a seat, please. Thank you. These crocs grow to be about 16 feet long and weigh around 500 pounds each, and they can live upwards of 40 years old. Crocodiles make pretty notorious predators in Africa, but they make pretty decent parents as well. Both mother and father crocs will gently roll their babies' eggs in their mouths and poke little holes in them to help them hatch. Once hatched, those babies can stay in their mouths and kind of use their parents as a hiding spot from any potential danger. As we are turning up here on our right-hand side, we'll pass a baobab. These are nicknamed upside down trees as their branches kind of look like roots, and also the tree of life. They can store thousands of gallons of water in their trunks, and they're able to conserve so much by not sprouting leaves for up to 9 months in a year. Now that baobab is a good indicator that we are heading into the savanna. This is the largest part of the reserve, home to a lot of animals you may recognize, but maybe some new ones as well. We're kind of overlooking the western portion here. There are lots of open plains. The tree line really thins out when compared to the forest, so we can see a lot further out in the distance. It's an area that we typically find predators of the savanna. So let's see if we're awake or out and about. Oh, we're snoozing. So just over the bushes, those are African wild dogs. Please sit down, thank you. They're also known as painted dogs for their patchwork-like coats. Can our babies be seated as well, please? Unless your name is Rafiki, we shouldn't hold anyone up in the air. Now, these are one of the most successful hunters of any mammal. Now, they'll take turns chasing down their prey until it drops from exhaustion. All of that when they're awake, of course. Over here to our left, the Ankole cattle, and a little further behind them in the trees are some sable antelope. The cattle are also known as Watusi after those that domesticated them. In Africa, they're shown as a sign of wealth, and their horns grow about 6 to 8 feet across on average. And the sables back there, they're actually the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Harambe in Swahili means to come together. And in fight or flight situations, those are going to be the animals to stick together and fight to defend themselves. They'll actually crouch down on their knees to use their long horns better for defense. Alright, so those animals up here, we're going to try to get a little closer to all the gray ones are wildebeest, and then there are Maasai giraffe out there as well. Now, wildebeest are a migratory species. They travel about 500 to 1,000 miles per year in herds of up to 1.5 million per area. They're the second most densely populated species of mammal, and is only second behind humans. They're also known as gnus because of the sound they make. That's G-N-U. Alright, we'll get a better view kind of as we're turning around the corner up here. But the Maasai giraffes are the tallest animals on the reserve. They stand about 18 to 20 feet on average, and a group of them is known as a tower. Pretty fitting for their height. Also up here, some Hartman's Mountain zebras. A group of them is known as a dazzle. Because when they run, their stripes sort of blend and create an illusion to dazzle whoever's watching. Try to look at that tongue peeking out of that giraffe. Let's see if they do it again. They're thinking about it. Oh, now that I mention it, they're not going to do it. Well, if you saw it, pretty impressive. About 1.5 feet in length. And similar to the okapis, it's prehensile, so it's flexible. If you can see over this hill, there are two little fuzzy zebras. They're only a few months old, so two little babies, but they're growing super fast. They're playing down there. Now each zebra is going to have a stripe pattern that is as unique to them as a fingerprint is to us. So no two are identical. There's another giraffe to our left as well. And then should get another view of some of the zebras down here to our right. Maybe the babies will appear there. They're kind of rambunctious. Some more wildebeest there. Spoiler alert, there is an elephant up here. So we'll find lots of toppled and broken trees. Good sign that we're moving into their territory. Looks like they just trimmed all the trees out here, so we'll get a really good view of this African elephant coming up on our right-hand side. We can tell their species because we are, of course, in Africa. But we can actually tell them apart from others because of the large shape and size of their ears. Kind of a coincidence, but their ears sort of look like the continent of Africa. Now when you see them flapping those, like little wings or Dumbo, that is going to serve as kind of a fan or cooling system for them. When air currents hit blood vessels on the back of those ears, it helps to lower their body temperature by up to 15 degrees. So pretty handy tool to have on some warmer days. And elephants sort of function as bulldozers on the savannah. They'll knock over trees to maintain their habitat and to eat the branches and leaves off of them. On our way, we'll trek through some red clay pits. You may see large footprints on the ground and tusk marks in that clay. Essentially, the elephants will shave away at it with their tusks to grind it down and make it soft. They'll then proceed to eat it, as it's high in minerals, and it serves as kind of a daily multivitamin for them. So right away out here, there are more elephants. A couple are coming up on our left here. One may be tricky to see, but there's a little teeny tiny one right next to us. Like under the bigger one. Gonna keep rolling forward. There's gonna be a little opening through the trees where we may see him kind of behind us, but a little baby there. Almost 10 months old. So again, keep an eye over to the left, see if you can see him peeking through back there. And then there are some more elephants up here as well. So they're kind of behind us, but they're walking this way a little bit. So there's that little one.
Oh, there's a baby.
And a few more of them down here. Look at them.
There's a baby.
A couple more giraffes over here to our right as well.
Oh, wow. Look at the baby. What?
They're just peeking. So animals on either side of us. And then there's going to be a little opening down here to our left. You can kind of see those elephants next to us. So this is likely a matriarchal herd out here since there's so many of them. So all females. Coming up on some much smaller animals, we'll find flamingos. These are greater flamingos. They are the largest of the species and the lightest pink in color. And they get that distinctive pink primarily from their diet of brine shrimp. It's something rich in the protein beta-carotene, and it shows up fully after about 2 years of life. So if you see slightly smaller, more gray and white ones, they're They're just a bit younger. And a group or gathering of them like this is known as a flamboyance. As we are heading even further into the savannah, we'll find a change in terrain. There are some more flat, stomped lands, lots of tree cover, as well as some large mud wallows.
Rhino.
Now, animals like rhinos will throw themselves into mud, covering from head to toe. One, to be playful, but also to cool themselves down. When the mud dries on their skin, it creates a shell that acts as a form of natural sunscreen, as well as a bug repellent for them. So if you remember way back in the forest, I mentioned that black rhinos are pretty solitary and shy animals. Out here they are taking a little nap, but these are white rhinos. They're a lot more social and active. They like to hang out and play in groups, and they wander around the savannah, so we may find even more of them up ahead. This is going to be the larger species as well. They'll weigh about 5,000 pounds full grown, but there are a few youngins out here that are a little smaller. So the one closest to the tree, you can see their horns just aren't fully grown in yet. So a couple white rhinos there. Like I said, we might find more of them up ahead. But coming up on our left, this is where we'll find cheetahs. There are two of them like snuggling right now, and then another one is behind a tree, but that one's really hidden. So you can look at these two on the hill. One of them putting their paws on the other. They're siblings, so they're getting cozy. Also an animal hiding over here to our right. I'll slow roll past them if you can see their fuzz through the trees. It's a water buck. They're just kind of sitting up there. They got their name after they were seen near sources of water, drinking lots of it. Now the cheetah is the fastest land animal. It can run up to about 65 miles an hour, reaching that speed in approximately 3 seconds. There is another one, or a couple of them in this back corner here, if you just see their spots peeking through. Now they can only maintain their speed across a few hundred yards, as it does take an extreme amount of energy from them. And when hunting, they rely on that speed more than strength. So their timing has to be near perfect to catch their prey. Cheetahs are technically not considered to be big cats because they can't roar. So they meow, purr, growl, hiss, kind of everything a domestic house cat would do. An animal that does roar, of course, though, is a lion. Here on our left, we're turning around a Kofi rock formation, and they are snoozing up on it. This is what they use as their territory. So that's a male there with his fluffy mane, and then there is a lioness right above him. If you see her ears sticking up, she just moved her paw a little bit. And coming up on our right, I can see another white rhino. They may be hidden a little later because they're kind of standing in the bushes out there. There's another one. So lions are nocturnal animals. They sleep about 16 to 20 hours a day, only getting up for very short bursts of energy at a time. When hunting at night, it is primarily the females that go out, while the male stays back to defend the territory and stays home with the cubs. Their vision's about 6 times stronger at night. During the day, it's comparable to that of a human. Coming up on our left here, these ones are sleeping through these trees, so I want you to look really hard. If you see any fuzzy rocks back there, they are warthogs. They're sleeping, but they're not in the best spot. So again, fuzzy rocks. Oh, it looks like we'll see another rhino down here as well. Warthogs are one of the largest burrowing animals and are very resourceful. Now, while they do dig their own, they'll reuse those of other animals left behind. So some rhinos down here, and then a couple of ostrich up ahead.
There you go. Oh, rhino. Wow.
Alright, the ostrich up here, this is the largest bird and fastest animal on 2 legs. They can run up to about 40 miles an hour, and they are birds, so they do have wings, but they're not used for flight. They're more a steering system. And those eggs down there, those are going to weigh about 3 pounds each, equivalent to about 2 dozen chicken eggs. And they are strong enough that the average sized man can stand on them, and they will not break. Now it's trying to make a break for the road, so we're going to scooch on through.
We're at biting height.
Now Now we're headed towards the edge of the savannah into Magadi
Ostriches
Glen.
are bullies.
This is the latest addition to the reserve. It's home to the warden's post and some Nigerian dwarf goats. The goats are very playful animals. We oftentimes see them running around, headbutting, climbing things, just overall being cute. So it looks like there are a couple of them hanging out down here. Just being goats. Relaxing. And they are ruminants. This means they have a chambered stomach. It gives them kind of a potbelly appearance, but this is normal for them. Doesn't mean they're bloated or feel bad. Really just says they can eat a whole lot and continuously digest throughout the day. Now they sort of function as little lawnmowers, and they're also a domesticated species here on the reserve, as farmers in Nigeria were able to use them for their milk. It tastes pretty sweet, but it's also high in nutrition and value. So while the farmers had profit and playful pets, the goats had a free place to live, free food, health care, and lots of attention. This relationship between the farmers and goats is a good example of how humans and animals can live together peacefully and harmoniously when done correctly with the right intentions. Now with that, we are approaching the outskirts of the village, so this does mean our safari has come into a close. I do hope you all enjoyed your time out on the reserve. Hopefully saw at least one animal you wanted to, and maybe learned something you hadn't known before. If we have had any wilderness explorers on board, you have been riding on the Simba 1. That is Simba, like the lion, and the number 1. As we are heading up to the docks where we'll part ways, it is a good idea to start gathering all your personal belongings.
Monkeys out.
What? Yes and no. It depends on what part of it. The stand-in part where you feel like you're going to pass out is a lot worse than all the way through.
Aww.
I want to feel it, but
I'm probably gonna get bit.
pretty.
But they can headbutt you.
I mean, it could definitely work, but I don't think they're good. I know.
Predators are leopard, crocodile, serval, eagle, monitor, and python. Snakes. I'll never get to film it. Thank you. I'm not. I'm good. We're celebrating you. Watch out for bird poop. Right, no, we don't need that. She's leaving though. Go ahead. There you see. You want to look at all the fish?
Sorry, but
He's not even looking.
Sit down. Kid first. Video later.
Never made it. It was topic two of it.
Ghost, baby.